Now, recreational marijuana use fully legal in 4 of our states and the District of Columbia. Our next guest thinks that list should be expanded. Former pro wrestler and former Navy SEAL turned governor Jesse Ventura joined me recently to talk about his new book, Jesse Ventura's Marijuana Manifesto. I began by asking about what's going on in the Middle East, in particular, the aggressive actions by Iran and whether we should be there in the first place.
I'm a great follower of Major General Smedley Darlington Butler, who served about 100 years ago. He was a United States Marine, the winner of not 1 but 2 Congressional Medals of Honor. And Major Butler, 100 years ago, said, the United States military, we need to pass a constitutional amendment that our military does not go over 500 miles from our shore. Then they will be protecting the United States of America. We have the technology today. We don't need 178 bases throughout the world. We can destroy the world 5 times over right now. So what on earth are we, the law enforcement or whatever you want to call us, throughout the world? Why is every time there's a war, we're in the middle of it?
Fair enough. Let's talk about the political conflict at home that is the presidential election. Donald Trump getting some good news from the military community and veteran voters. According to the latest NBC News Survey Monkey poll, Mr. Trump leads Mrs. Clinton by 19 points with that voting bloc. A full 55% say they trust him more to handle the military. Given your non-interventionist views, how do you see the upcoming presidential election?
Well, I see whether Trump or Hillary wins, we will continue at war for another 4 years. If Libertarian Gary Johnson wins, that's who I'm voting for, Gary's assured he will immediately start pulling out of the Middle East, and he will also immediately start ending the war on drugs. People need to know that. More people have died in the war on drugs in Mexico than have died in Afghanistan and Iraq in our 2 wars. So there's 3 wars here you're talking about. Iraq or Syria today, Afghanistan, and Mexico, the war on drugs. Governor Johnson will end all 3. I support him completely on that.
And Governor Johnson has opened up a new front in the battle of ideas in terms of presidential politics, something you mentioned and something you've written a book about, Jesse Ventura's Marijuana Manifesto. You write about your reasons for favoring the legalization of marijuana. Jesse, we've got about 4 minutes now, but I just really need to drill down. Why do you think that would be beneficial?
Well, it'd be beneficial, first of all, for jobs in our economy. We've got an entire industry out there waiting to happen, and it hasn't got any of these negatives they've sold to you over the years. The experiments in Colorado and Washington are phenomenal. In fact, in the state of Washington, their first trickle-down effect of legalizing marijuana, their statewide judicial budget, fell 15%. I can assure you as a governor that is massive when a judicial budget falls 15%. In Colorado, they got $300 million more to spend on schools and infrastructure because of the legalization of marijuana.
There has been criticism and concern voiced about the different hybrid strains of marijuana created now to be far more potent, far more, for lack of a better term, intoxicating. I see the smile on your face. I guess you have a very different response to some of those charges.
No, that's a good thing. Health-wise, think about it. If, much like liquor, you can buy 151 rum, or you can buy a liqueur that may be only 15%. It's your choice of what you want to purchase. I'm laughing because it's healthier. If the marijuana is more potent and you're smoking it for the euphoric high, you only have to take 1 puff into your lungs. You don't have to smoke the whole thing. In fact, you could probably stretch it out all day on 1 joint if it's more powerful. So see, I'm reversing what the propaganda that you'll get. It's better if it's that way because it's actually more healthy. You won't have to inhale as often.
I just got to ask you, with 30 seconds that remains, when you came to testify as governor of Minnesota to the Ways and Means Committee, of which I was a member, you took a nice big drink of milk before you began the testimony. Do you have the same feeling that marijuana is as wholesome for a body as milk?
Yes, and I'll tell you why. Someone very close to me developed late-stage, later-in-life epileptic seizures and was seizing 3 to 4 times a week. It took away my entire quality of life. They put her on 4 different pharmaceutical medications. None of them worked. All had horrible side effects. The person went to Colorado, got medical marijuana, and has been seizure-free now for over 2 years and completely off pharmaceutical drugs. That's why I'm so passionate that it needs to be legalized. There's people out there suffering, and marijuana can help them.
And our thanks to Jesse Ventura, who obviously has a point of view there. Tonight on Newsmax Prime, John Zogby, with the latest on polls after last night's Commander-in-Chief Forum, plus Congressman Brian Babin on Obama sending billions of dollars in payments to Iran, and political operative Sam Nunberg on the ins and outs of politics. That is tonight, 8 o'clock Eastern, right here on Newsmax Prime. And needless to say, we will be looking for you again tomorrow, 1 o'clock Eastern, for America Talks Live Part 2. Michael Cutler, who testified before the 9/11 Commission to talk about 15 years on. Thanks for watching.